Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the Prosperity Portal. Let me just check my connection and make sure that it don't sound raggedy. I just did a stream over on the Divine Disruption channel. If you want to check that out, there's 3 different readings that I did over there. The video was like less than an hour though, so that's good, it's good. Let me see. So I'm actually just going to make this pretty quick. Hold on. Let me check my audio. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. Um. Oh shucks. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, y'all. That was an accident. But yeah, I'm gonna make this. No, I'm not gonna make it quick, but like I'm not gonna take all day. But basically, so okay, I want to start the 21 Days of Assumption Magic again. The same as 21 Day Assumption Magic series that we did last year. I want to do that again. It was around this time last year that I did it actually. Think like maybe I did it in July or something actually, but whatever. I want to do that again because I recognized how potent that energy was, number one, when I was doing it. And I really do think that this is a time to be proactive because there's so many reasons to feel discouraged right now based on everything that's happening in this world, as we know. And it does feel very post-apocalyptic for sure. It's definitely given that energy. And even with what I'm building with House of Wolf the other day, I had to make an announcement. I'm like, hey, I'm taking a sabbatical because like this ain't it. And it's not even that things feel impossible. It's just that there's so much happening in this world right now to the point where I feel like I don't want to be a participant in the game, because it feels like more NPCs than actual people who can actively build with me. And hey, this is not taken away from the people who have showed up and who um are a part of House of Wolf. Shout out to y'all. But what I am saying is I definitely feel like there are more people that have no souls, no mind of their own, than there are of us, okay, who are actively just building new earth, right? And shout out to all my new earth builders because I know how challenging it can be to build in a climate of this caliber. I was just having a revelation the other day, and I was doing a field note, and I was talking about how I feel as if I thought that coming into this, new chapter, this brand new story, that it was just going to be okay. You connect with your people, and boom, everything just starts building to what you want, right? And I'm like, damn, I really was living in a fairy tale. I really was living in a fairy tale and still am. Don't get it twisted. I still am. But like reality is that it's going to be challenging because we're actively building in a climate where there are still pieces of the old paradigm. And obviously, we knew that that was going to be the case, but like not to this caliber. And the thing that I think is the most significant here is the aspects of the system that have not been destroyed yet. The fact that certain pieces are still in play, and it can be very frustrating building something that is completely new, that is completely against everything that we've been taught we have to rely on when it comes to these systems that actually weren't built for us in the first place. And it can feel as if, okay, well, we have no choice but to rely on them. We have no choice but to think about taxes. We have no choice but to think about a paycheck. We have no choice but to think about these key components that actually keep our lives going, right? That meet our basic needs, right? But then it's like, but the circumstances surrounding how we have to meet those needs, it's crazy. Like requiring output, 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 and not even giving you ample time to really restore, to really build outside of whatever you're working on. Like, it should not be you work your fingers down to the bone and then all you got is nubs when it comes time to enjoy what you've built after all those years of working. That's crazy. And so, this assumption magic, I want to do this series, this 21-day series again, because when I did this last year, the things that I was experiencing last year, it was very severe, obviously. Number one, I was in the midst of, um, and still am in the midst of some legal stuff that I don't even know if I'm gonna continue to pursue, because I know that it's like having my foot in the old world in a sense, because I don't even believe in the justice system, but at the same time, I have to ask the justice system to give me what I deserve because of what I experienced, in these last several years. But then at the same time, I'm like, man, fuck all of that. The world that I live in now and the things that I've manifested through this 21 days of assumption magic are too compelling to even care about. And I don't even want to say it like that, because that sounds crazy. Like, oh, I don't care about what happened to me. I do care about what happened to me. I do care that I was a targeted individual. I mean, I still am a targeted individual, but like, being a targeted individual now and knowing what I know now and having what I have now is completely different than before. Because before, when I was being targeted, I was like intentionally solo, number one. Like, I felt like that was the only way for me to survive. And then also, I was it just my thought process then was just completely different. Okay, the people in my life now, it's like they make me realize that, like, everything that I created, like, I created it through tenacity, right? I created it because I wasn't gonna let somebody else write my story and choose what my life looked like. And no, 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 nobody's gonna dictate how my life goes. But like, I also, I'm in this space where it just feels so, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm on a teeter totter in a way, because it's like you gotta keep balancing through the practical world, and the practical world, the pieces of the practical world that still run our lives as humans, as spirits having a human experience. Like, we can't deny that they exist. Like, we have to figure out other ways to create capital, right? We have to figure out other ways to circulate value, right? So I came up with the creative exchange. I created a barter system so that we can build without having the pressure of money. But then we still have to think about, okay, but we don't have agriculture figured out fully yet, right? We don't have connections in that sense yet to where we can say we can fully thrive as a community without still tapping into some of the old pieces of the system. And so that's the part that's kind of just creating challenge for me, because I'm like, well, fuck everything. I don't want to have no parts. But then you can't say that, because we're not there yet. We haven't built a way to fully have no parts. You know what I mean? And so, saying all this, because I know that there are other people out there who you're actively building too, right? I know that you feel what I feel in some ways. You may not feel exactly what I feel. You may not be building what I'm building, but you want what I want, and that sovereignty, right? And so, it does seem so fairy tale, when we look at the world that we're living in and the circumstances that are surrounding us. But I also firmly believe in not allowing our circumstances, or excuse me, the circumstances, to define us and the reality that we choose to create. Because at every given moment, we are creating our reality through the words that we're speaking, and the actions that we're taking, and the thoughts that we're thinking, right? And all of the actions that we're taking, and the things that we're thinking, and the words that we're speaking are influenced by what we're choosing to consume, right? And so what we choose to consume has to be high caliber. It has to be high frequency. And the only way that I can maintain that frequency, I know, and I'm speaking for myself, is through doing things like this, just immersing myself in alchemy, staying connected to others who are um moved first and foremost spiritually, not influenced by, okay, I gotta, see what's happening in the social media, and I gotta do, people who wake up and start their day on a spiritual tip. Those are the people that I have to surround myself around in order to continue to maintain that frequency that continues to feed me and my thoughts being the way that they need to be, so that we can continue to build, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, there have been moments where I was just like, man, you know what? I don't even see no point in taking all this effort to build when there's so many people that aren't actively building and don't actively want to build because they're content with just staying stuck in the old paradigm because it doesn't require any effort. And I realize that I shouldn't think like that because I don't know all the people in the world, right? Haven't met all the people in the world. And we can't get distracted or discouraged by the encounters that we're having, because that's just a limitation based on what we've seen thus far. But at any given moment, we can choose to step out and see more, to go other places, you know what I mean? And to connect deeper with people. And I really do feel like that requires a collective effort, though. And so, saying that to say, this 21 days of Assumption Magic, I brought it over to from the Prosperity Portal. I brought it over to House of Wolf. So if you're not already an active member on House of Wolf, go and sign up for free and join the Prosperity Portal over there on for the group, and you can tap into the 21 days of Assumption Magic. There's one video per day for every 21 days. There's also an activity for every single day. We're going to start on June 1st, okay? So this is going to help us to stay focused on what we want to build, because I know it's really hard to build something when you're not around other people who are building things, and when you're around so many people who are NPCs. It's just so easy to just feel like, man, this shit ain't gonna work. But it is gonna work, okay? It is gonna work because it worked before. I'm living the proof. Like, literally, I'm living the proof. Shout out to all the people who have came into my life after, me doing this 21 days of Assumption Magic last year. Like, my life changed in so many beautiful ways because of this Assumption Magic, and just me living my life through Assumption Magic now, like that I maintain that as a ritual practice, not just, okay, I'm going to do this for 21 days, but the intention is, challenge yourself for 21 days to think as your desired self, and to act as your desired self, to just live as that, right? And then the intention is that you just continue that as a, regular practice after that 21 days is up. And so, yeah, that is why I created the group within House of Wolf, so that we can, after the 21 days is over, continue to stay connected and to talk about different things that may be coming up, different challenges, different results that we're having, questions that we have, whatever it is, right? But like, the need to connect to others is always going to be there. Okay. No matter how far we ascend, no matter how far we come, no matter how much we heal, we're always going to need each other. And I recognize that everybody is actively either connected to their people or looking for their people. And just looking for that direction, looking for those answers. And maybe we don't always have the answers, right? But maybe we just have the ability to connect to each other and to pour into one another when somebody is lacking. There's going to be somebody that's within the circle that's not lacking and that's feeling good, and that can, pour from a full cup, and so right now, what's really needed is to step back into this 21 days of Assumption Magic. And I'm excited to do this, honestly, because when I did it last year, it just felt so, it was so fucking potent, like, so powerful to be in a space where we're surrounded by people who say, you can't, you can't, you can't, it's impossible, but you're like rebelling against all of that, right? And you're choosing to take a stance within all of that and say, no, it is possible. Against all odds, it's possible. I don't care what comes my way. I don't care what it looks like. It's fucking possible. And I'm gonna prove it, not to anybody else, but to yourself. And I proved it to myself. And I just be looking at myself sometimes like, yo, you really did that. Like you really did that. So, part of the reason that I continue to keep this channel is because I really do believe that prosperity isn't about tangible things. It's really about the mind. It's really about the embodiment. And I, even when I don't feel that embodiment sometimes, because I got sucked into what was happening, on the circumstances end of things, like I always circle back to this. I always come back to this embodiment. I always come back into this embodiment. And it's not like oh, you're just convincing yourself or you're just psyching yourself out. I mean, in a way, if you are in circumstances that contradict the reality that you want to live, you do have to psych yourself out. You do have to think beyond the circumstances. You do have to think beyond what it is that your physical eye can see, because you recognize that there is another world that is active and is penetrating as we're actively seeing the physical. There's also the spiritual, the world that we can't see, and that world actually is what fuels our physical world. And so we can't discredit it, and we can't say, oh, it's just this mystical thing. No, like, what do you think creates the ability to be human? The spiritual, the spirit world. Okay. So it is relevant more than the physical. Okay. Like, in order to be in the physical, we have to first recognize the spiritual. And so, like, let's tap back into the 21 days of assumption magic. If you want to do it with me, I'll link it to the description of this, or the comment section of this video. And yeah, like I said, it's free to join. But I do ask that you sign up. In order to join, you have to sign up. And it is free to sign up too. Don't worry, you don't have to. You don't have to pay anything to join the community, but you do have to sign up so that I can know who's who. Because we can't just have them weirdos slipping through the cracks. But anyway, 21 days of assumption magic. Okay. Um, yeah, the intention behind the 21 days is, stop chasing your dream life and start actually living it, and live it by way of the things that you're speaking, the ways that you're or the actions that you're taking, the people that you're surrounding yourself around, all of it. So 21 days to immerse into the reality that you desire. So if you're with me, I'll link the link here, and I'll see you there. Okay, ciao.